Morning guys, I hope all is well. I'm putting some finishing touches on the Bonneville before trying to test ride it, starting with this Airbox assembly. These inner cases came out really well thanks to George for letting me use his media blasting cabinet. These pieces are easy to put together, they're just a little fiddly. They're a bit like an old Meccano set and just held together with nuts and bolts. I'm just wiggling this inner piece to help the main securing bolt locate in the thread and also to push some of these pipes out of the way. This is a really tricky little part here with these tiny bolts or screws. I believe that they are 4BA, British Association thread. I'm just going to pull these two halves together so that they are flush on the outside. I fitted these star type washers just to stop the bolts from pushing back and falling out when the outside cover is fitted. You might be wondering how that new air filter stays in place. Well, I'll tell you in just a minute. I'm being pretty careful how I tighten these up because I noticed that the inside cases are actually cracked and I believe they've been over tightened in the past. I bought these new aftermarket MGO air filters for the bike and they look great, but they flop about when you try and fit them here and it's difficult to get the cover on. So for example, you can't just put them on there and they just fall off. And similarly, you can't put them on the outer cover as well. They fit very snugly, but they're loose. And so what I've done is I've just made a little bracket that holds the air filter in place here like this. The other thing I've done is they've got a couple of little wings on the end to hold them back. And you may ask, well, why didn't I just put a nut here to hold the bracket? Well, on the outside cover, it's got this cone shape here. Now this goes almost to the inside panel as well, so I can't have a nut on that thread because it will push this out. So all I've done is I've put a bracket on there with wings that hold this air filter in place, and I've just used a couple of cable ties that I'm going to snip off in a minute, but it should hold the air filter in place and give it a nice tight seal. I do wish I'd bought new rubbers. Bit of false economy there. They're a bit stretched, but I think they'll work okay. I've also fitted new Doughty washers and copper washers here to the fuel taps. Hopefully that will cure the leaking that you may remember when I started the bike. Well, this might seem a little unnecessary, but it's what they call a seat check wire. It stops the seat from straining when you lift it up. I'm also going to have an upcoming video in the future about fixing this seat. Whoa, that's tight. Boy, that is really tight. I really like this round mirror, and I'll leave a link in the description below. These handlebar lever perches, they don't have a thread through them. It goes right through the hole, and then there's a nut that you use to tighten it up. And finally, I couldn't resist this finishing touch. The paperwork that came with the bike shows that this motorcycle was actually sold by the Cycle Hub, and so I had this license plate holder reproduced using an original that my friend Doug has. I just thought it looked cool.